Hello, this is Mike Burek, your host and producer of Krynytsia, The Well, a podcast series about interesting and noteworthy Ukrainians from around the globe. Today is Saturday, April 13th, 2024. Our guest for this episode is Marta Barandiy, a Ukrainian activist, lawyer, and founder of the organization Promote Ukraine. This episode is produced for The Ukrainian Weekly, a newspaper published in English for the global Ukrainian community since 1933. Welcome, Marta. How are you today?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm fine. I'm in Brussels. How are you, Michael?
Very good. Thank you for joining us from Brussels today. To start off with, can we get some background on your education and professional work?
Sure. I studied in Ukraine international law. As I studied in Lviv University, international relations and European law. And then after I graduated, I studied in Austria and in Germany. I've got my PhD in international relations in 2011 from Saarbrücken University. And since then, I've lived in Belgium. I have my family here. And in 2014, I established Promote Ukraine. So basically, everything what I've studied before, I could put into practice with the organization that I had established.
Marta, why did you decide to move to Brussels, Belgium?
I did an internship here in 2004 in the European Parliament, and that is where I met my future, or now as former, partner, and I moved to him. So I moved in 2006 to Belgium. I formed a family here, but in meantime, I also studied in Germany. So basically, my motivation to move to Belgium was personal, but then in 2014, it became more professional.
And when and why did you establish the NGO Promote Ukraine?
When Euromaidan started in 2013 in November, I believe that Ukrainians around the world could not stay at home. They went out on the streets to protest the fact that the former president refused to sign the association agreement. And that is where I felt as well that I should protest and I should do something to bring voice of Ukrainian people, of those who are struggling on Euromaidan, bring their voice to Brussels, to the decision makers, opinion makers, but also to average citizens of Belgium, because the information that they had got here was the information that was filtered by Moscow. A lot of journalists during Euromaidan were not in Kyiv, but they were in Moscow reporting about the events in Ukraine. So I thought it was not fair, and they had to get the information firsthand. We started movements to translate articles, to go on the streets, to talk to people, to do the videos, and so on. So that is when I tried to find an organization that would fit my vision, and the vision was very international, but I could not find the organization that could accommodate my views in terms of how to proceed with promoting Ukraine. So I decided to establish my own Promote Ukraine, and I did it together with other activists, not only from Belgium, but also from Ukraine and from other countries. That was my main motivation. Also, when Russia occupied Crimea, when Russia started war in Donbass, and then when Russia shot down MH17, I felt that Promote Ukraine has a great mission that will not stop in 2014.
And what are the main activities of Promote Ukraine?
After the full-scale invasion, the activities grew from 1 to 8. So before it was advocacy, like meetings, conferences. Now it's a bit of everything. It's helping displaced people. It's a humanitarian aid. We are sending humanitarian aid to Ukraine. Can you hear me? So we are sending humanitarian aid. We are still meeting behind closed doors with the decision makers. We also go on the streets. We organize a lot of demonstrations. I think by now 200 demonstrations were held in this a bit more than 2 years. Yeah, so we try to do all possible things to promote Ukraine. If previously I had just 4 volunteers that promote Ukraine, now there are more than 150. And I have few people who work for the organization to make sure that we have the sustainability and we have the whole necessary infrastructure to accommodate the volunteers.
And I'm curious, how large is the Ukrainian community in Belgium? And particularly at this point, has there been an influx of Ukrainian refugees in Belgium?
60,000 Ukrainian refugees came to Belgium when the full-scale invasion started. So I think in 4 months it were, although Belgium expected around 200,000, just 60,000 arrived and stayed. There have been, of course, the Ukrainian diaspora and a smaller community before that, few thousand people as a diaspora people, but altogether maybe 12, 15,000 Ukrainians. Now it's more than 60. Altogether, maybe 80 with the diaspora.
And with Promote Ukraine, are you primarily drawing from this community, or are there some Belgians who are participating in Promote Ukraine?
Oh, we have like 25% international. It's not only Belgians. We have 2 Belgians, but we have a lot of Italians, Spanish, Germans, and British. So we have quite an international community in within Promote Ukraine, and that is what I wanted. I actually wanted to promote Ukraine to Belgians and to internationals, and with them, with the expats being on board with my organization, I think we can achieve it, because that is how we get out of our bubble and talk about Ukraine with their friends, with their networks.
And what have been some of your major challenges with the work of Promote Ukraine?
The major challenges are, of course, financial. I think it's with every NGO like this. Whatever you do, either it's humanitarian aid that you send to Ukraine, or you help refugees, or you just try to organize your own work. The financial challenges are the most important, the biggest ones. But in terms of content, it's of course to make Belgians and to make international decision makers understand how they can help Ukraine. Everyone wants to help, but everyone has his own vision on how to do that. And some of the vision are quite naive and quite infantile, I would say. And we try to show solutions that are not always accepted by those who say that they love peace. So we try to talk about the sustainable peace, but it's really hard to make a point how to bring that peace.
Please describe the work of the Brussels-based Ukraine Review. When and why did you establish it?
Brussels Ukraine Review, it's a journal that we started in 2019 to make exchange possible between the experts of Ukraine and the EU on the issues of Ukrainian integration. Between 2014 and 2022, unfortunately, there was not so much help to Ukraine in terms of establishing justice for international law, in terms of like helping Ukraine win the war. But the main topic between EU and Ukraine was integration of Ukraine into the EU. So I thought that it would be a good topic to start with in the journal, but also every time when I had opportunity to publish something about war and about crimes that Russia did on that time in Ukraine. And now, of course, in the new editions of the journal that Russia does now in Ukraine, every time when I had this opportunity, I did publish about it. Every 3 months, the journal was coming out. We have by now 10 or 12 editions, if I'm not mistaken. And I think one of the most important editions was the one of December 2021, where I wrote about the curb the attack, that the world must curb the attack that was coming. And in that edition, I wrote about the filtration camps, that it was somewhere in information space of Russia, that some filtration camps are being established or can be established, but also about the mass graves, that Russia published a law on the mass graves in the peaceful and war times back in September 2021. And so I had to ring the alarm here across European continent about this fact. And I did it through my journal, but unfortunately it was not, it was still not perceived as a serious threat till everyone got shocked with the massive unprovoked aggression on the 24th of February 2022.
And what other activities have you been involved with to increase the awareness of Ukraine in the EU countries?
Well, we organized a lot of conferences in the European Parliament with the members of European Parliament. We did it on Crimea issues, on human rights issues. We brought Ukrainian kids from Volnovakha to Belgium to show them how the decision-making works here, but also to show a bit Belgium. We brought them to the school, to a Belgian school, where they could meet people or kids of the same age. We organized a conference in Kyiv where we talked about the image of Ukraine in Europe to actually invite on board the Ukrainians who could change or who could influence the image of Ukraine within the EU, European information space. So we tried all different activities before the full-scale invasion. And now, when the invasion started, we talked to the president of European Parliament in order to ask her to help Ukrainian civil society. And you know what? On the 28th of February 2022, she responded to my letter where I asked to give us an office, to give us a space where Ukrainians could coordinate with the media. And she gave us the Station Europe building. It's the whole building near the European Parliament, or is actually attached to the European Parliament. And that building is now put into service for Ukrainian civil society, and Ukrainian activists and organizations can organize events there, press conferences, exhibitions. It's like a hub. It's a hub for Ukrainian activists, and it was given by Roberta Metsola, by the president. So we tried all different things, and many of them worked, but they worked unfortunately only after the full-scale invasion. And honestly, I see that the space is the pace slowed down. So it's not anymore that easy to bring about help for Ukrainian activists, for Ukrainian civil society in Ukraine and such, because of the European elections that are upcoming and elections in the European states. Everyone is busy with themselves.
Marta, we're just about out of time. I do have one final question for you. Why did you decide to run for European elections with the new political movement of Belgium voor you? I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes, it's right. It's for you in Dutch and for you in English. I was offered the first place as a lead candidate, to be a lead candidate in the European elections by that party. It's a liberal party. And why I decided to run is because I realized that as an activist, of course, I am free to bring the issues out there in public, but I am not empowered I don't have the legitimacy to take decisions and to bring it further than just streets or just the closed cabinets. So it will be easier for me to speak up on behalf of the people if I am within the decision-making body. It will be easier to talk to journalists and media, but also to have a microphone in front of all the decision makers and make them think twice before taking decisions that can damage the European defense and security, including Ukraine.
And can you tell us where to go online to find out more information about Promote Ukraine, Ukraine Review, and all of your activities?
Sure. The promoteukraine.org is the reference. Everything is there. There is all the articles, everything about Brussels Ukraine Review is also there. And Marta for Europa is about martaforeuropa.eu. It's about myself, about my program and European elections. So everything is online. And I think that when people put promote Ukraine Brussels, they will immediately in Google, and they will immediately find us.
Marta, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on Krynytsia.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you.
I have been speaking with Marta Barandiy, who is a Ukrainian activist, lawyer, and founder of the organization Promote Ukraine. She's currently in Brussels, Belgium, and she is also running for the European elections with the political movement Belgium for You. And this podcast has been produced for The Ukrainian Weekly, a newspaper published in English for the global Ukrainian community since 1933. I'm Mike Burek, your host and producer of Krynytsia. Until next time, that's all for now.